Hello, Beth. Welcome to sunny Sydney.
Oh, thank you for having me.
And as you can see, I put the beautiful weather on for you.
Yeah, it's nice and rainy and dreary here, so I wish I were there.
To be honest, it's raining here. So, Beth, welcome to the show. And Beth Hildenbrand has written a lovely book, or I won't say lovely, it's a scary book by the name of Dark Rite. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your book?
Well, it's the second book in a series, actually. It's about an indie horror writer and her best friend, and they get in a lot of trouble as her horror. The main character, Willow, is the horror writer, and her stories seem to come to life. And as they try and puzzle these things out, they tend to get in a bit of trouble in the meantime. And demons and witches and all kinds of fun things pop out of the woodwork. And they manage to survive, but just barely.
I mean, that sounds very, very close to what you do.
So pretty much. And it all takes place in my hometown. The first book actually takes place in my house. And my house was the first house built on this street in my town. So it's really historical.
Right? Sorry about that. Sorry, there's a bit of a delay because the Australian kangaroos don't pedal fast.
Yeah. It's we have a weird little town here, and there is a place called the Cloister that was basically what the town was founded around. It was a religious sect. And it was a celibate sect, so they didn't last very long.
Right.
And the rumor had it that there was these two sisters. One was the prioress of the women's side of the sect, and her sister was in love with the man who founded the order and claimed to have his love child. So it was like, a perfect thing to write a story off of.
Yeah. So, I mean, to be honest with you, you're the first author I've ever spoken to that writes about the occult. What actually drew you to that genre?
I was raised in the Mennonite church. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of that or not. It's kind of like the Quakers.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah.
And
they don't like electricity and that sort of thing?
Yeah. So with that background, obviously I left the church. With that background, I had a lot of, Josephine writes and calls me a biblical scholar. But yeah, I grew up with a lot of Bible pushed upon me. And with that, it just sort of led me into all kinds of different directions with the Bible study and then into the occult study and where I am now.
That's quite a difference in beliefs.
Yes, it is.
If you don't mind me asking, how old were you when you left the Mennonite church?
Well, I kind of strayed and went back. I left the church and then I went back for my grandmother. My grandmother wanted me to come back to the church, and I tried. I did. And then I got divorced, and the church shunned me. Which I found hysterical. And so, there was no going back after that. Once you're shunned, you're shunned. They don't want you. So,
I mean, that sounds like the topic for a novel right there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'll probably get there yet. But you can get beat up by your husband. You can get they can anything, and you better stay married. So when I got divorced, they didn't care for that, and they shunned me from the church.
So the Mennonites, tell me if I'm wrong, but quite in a part of the States, is that the group that normally you see sort of like riding down the street in a cart and a horse?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, okay. And they don't watch TV and that type.
Well, now my family, they were allowed cars, but a lot of them have black bumper cars. You can have cars, but they have bumpers. Everything is, no color, no shine, no nothing. But I do still have family members who are horse and buggy.
Okay, wow, okay. So obviously riding I love the picture on the back, by the way.
Oh, thank you. My monster poster.
Yeah, I'm going to have nightmares tonight. So, myself being a historical fiction author and, a teacher, I'm very, very, I suppose, used to sort of like researching. How on earth do you research for an occult novel, but also how close is that to sort of like what I mean, obviously the occult and that type of, I suppose, interest in it is very heavy in South American places like that. How on earth do you research for it, and how close is it to the actual occult interests in South America? Well,
Pennsylvania Dutch surprisingly has their own traditions. I don't know if you've ever seen a Pennsylvania Dutch hex sign. No. They used to put them on the barns back in the day, okay. And they have their own sort of traditions that they brought over from Germany.
Oh, right, okay.
When they immigrated.
So we're not talking about the occult, sort of like in places like Brazil and that. It's more of an American.
Yeah, it's. Have you ever read The Golden Bough?
No, to be honest with you, I don't do a lot of reading except for my own book.
Sir James Fraser. It was all the principles of magic, and. He goes into all the different religions and all the different types of lore and magic and traditions and all the different cultures. And the Pennsylvania Dutch have their own culture and their own ways of kind of like magical lore, and the hex sign is part of it. And so that kind of plays into it. But really, I just sort of use general occult based on the story, general witchcraft and demonology.
Yeah. And tell me, what are some of the challenges? I mean, with my novels that I write, I like them to be historically accurate. So basically what I do a huge amount of research, basically put that accuracy into a fictional novel, right? Quite often using my ancestors as the main characters. What challenges do you face when you write about the occult?
Well, for death rites and dark rites, I toured the Ephrata Cloister. I was in there. I was at the local historical society. It's like, I don't know, 500 feet from my house. So that's easy to get to. I combed through, all the archives and did all my research online. Yep. And I just took, the basic story of the sisters and the founder and, changed the names and things like that. And, made it to fit. I took the basic story and said, what if? What if it was true that she had his love child? And what happened? And then you add a little bit of, well, what if the sister was jealous that she had the child and got rid of her sister and used this for her own evil purposes? And then it tainted the bloodline. And years later, the main character in the book has to, fight the evil that was started 200 years ago.
Wow.
And
sorry, there's a bit of a lag, time delay, but obviously Dark Rites is obviously written about something that's like quite close in the area where you live. What have other people said about your novel? Because it'd be very, very close to home for them.
People are fascinated actually that I would write about this, and there's just so much history right here in my area. I just had a lady bought a new car 2 days ago, and the woman was like, "Oh, you have to write about the catacombs." There's catacombs under the town. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing that. And then up on top of the hill, there was an old hospital. And the woman who owned it was a spiritualist back in the 20s. And she used to hold seances. So I'm excited to get in there. I think that's going to be my next book. So there's just so much here in the area that can be written about. And I'm so excited about it. It's just so much I can, book after book. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So how many... Obviously, there's a Cain series. So, so Dark Rites. That's your third novel?
No, I have the 3 Cain books, and then there's Death Rites and Dark Rites, and then I have 4 books of poetry.
Oh, poetry as well.
Yes, and I'm should have Where the Tombstones Grow out by June.
Okay.
And that is about where I grew up. The old family homestead. My great grandfather, I believe, he was a general in the Civil War and founded the town where my family lived, and it all takes place there.
Okay. So what would you hope that readers of Dark Right, what would they take away from the novel?
Just a good time, really. Just fun. Yeah. I mean, I like to entertain people. I like to tell good stories.
Okay.
It's not really, educational. I hope, you learn something. Yeah, I hope, you get a feel for the area. A lot of people, with the Cain series are like, they love the town and the people in the town. They just, get so attached to Adamstown and where everything happens. So like, oh, I want to go to Adamstown. I want to be there. So, I hope they feel like that when they read the books. And, I hope that, they like it like that. But I just hope they have fun with it. Yeah, I like to tell a good story. I always say I don't really review off of editing and covers and things like that. I review off of how good a story you tell me. That's what's important to me. Tell me a good story.
Yeah, and I mean, I suppose for the people that read it, as I said before, because it's so close to them, they can, can they see sort of like the place where that particular scene occurred and that type of thing?
Yes. Yeah. You when you feel like you're a part of the book, then you have done a good job.
Yeah, one. Okay, so obviously to be on Amazon, it's on Kindle Unlimited.
Yes.
Yeah. So Beth, I know you're a very busy lady, and thanks for coming on the show. It took ages for us to get together, and I'm really glad I did. So thank you for being on the show, and good luck with your novel.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.